You taller than me? You're taller than me. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. Episode 2 of the Coach J podcast. I am here with my wonderful friend,
Heyo.
Jessica Gorlicky, one of Toronto's, if not Toronto's best artists, well known across Canada and globally as well. Welcome to the show, Jess. I greatly appreciate you coming on. Let everyone know
I appreciate
who you are.
greatly.
25
for
years.
25 years.
That's
plus. Because we did have, even prior to our first Lululemon window painting / movement situation, we did actually already know of each other and we were already cool.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
As youngsters.
And I will have to put on my stories for sure.
Best guy ever right over here.
Thanks.
You've never changed. You've always been. I can only describe you as...
I've had to change.
Yes. And we've grown.
We have. And a lot of people don't know, one of the things Jess did for me way back when I was starting training, when I was doing training, is you designed a shoe for me, and I still have the shoes.
Nice.
I will then have to show that on my Instagram stories
I love that.
TikTok stories. But again, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It started snowing outside.
Honored.
So
April 2nd. Oops, April Fools. Isn't this supposed to be a joke?
My gosh.
We always think it's over.
But the show goes on.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Just tell everyone a little bit about how you got into art, how you got into design, how you got into creativity. A lot of people just know Jessica Gorlicky, this rambunctious, this like high energy, spinning the canvas and painting on it. But tell us, take us back to how it started.
Cool. And I appreciate that because there has been an incredibly long road, and it has... It's been for 45 years that I've been practicing becoming me. Right. As you know, this all just didn't happen yesterday. This was like a movement of mine since I was a youngster, and I had only really had a peaceful sort of a space where I was comfortable within my body, which was in either movement or creation. Okay. And movement and creation, if they didn't exist for me, I know that I wouldn't have existed. And as a youngster, I needed to plug into those channels unknowingly and very organically so that I could function as a young person, as a human. And when you're 14, 15, 16, 17, and someone asks, what are you gonna do with your life? How are you gonna do this? I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to know? Right. How do you know? Right. I know what I like. I know what feels good in my body. And there was actually what I call a force beyond nature and a force beyond knowing that drove me to creation and movement, which is how I've synced my business together. It turned into a business. I needed a lot of angels. I needed a lot of guidance. I needed a lot of growing. There's no artists in my family.
Wow, that's...
My younger sister and I, we played off of each other's strengths and weaknesses to understand how to move forward as an artist in creation, and then we needed everything else. Right. Business skills, videography, photography, web. I say to people, and it's not a joke, I have 20 jobs. Right. I know how to do 20 different jobs.
Young entrepreneurs, you gotta learn how to do everything.
Every day that you're interested in something, you got to try, you got to learn, you got to feel. Right. How does this work for me? How am I going to make it work for me? Right.
Let's go back to from the creativity, and we were just talking, the group of us, off camera, about when we are little kids, right or wrong. We are taught to color inside of the line because it teaches direction, it teaches hand-eye coordination. And as we're coloring,
so does sports, and sports and coloring was my foundation, absolutely.
Right, we're taught that up to a certain age or grade, and then all of a sudden everything becomes abstract. Right. You're taught to maybe go outside the line, push the envelope,
get outside. It's a little bit of a dichotomy. It's not the way we were taught. Right. It's to go on your own. Right. Go off on your own imagination and creativity. What does that look like?
Right. So where from you going from 17 to your early 20s and moving from 20s, because we evolve as people, right? So you're a youngster, and then you move into teens, you're learning yourself, you're learning your body, you're learning your sexuality, all that. And then you go into your 20s and you want to have fun and you want to make it big and you want to, but in a creative space, and as you said, from a creative standpoint, you wanted movement and you wanted to be creative. You knew that from the get-go.
I knew that. That was in the bag for me. How was I going to do it?
How do you take
How do you do it?
How do you take movement and creativity and make this art? If you guys can see this studio, and we're gonna show you guys and pan some of this stuff. How do you take movement and creativity and start to make art? Which is, movement and creativity is the art in its form.
You're already moving from a place
paint
where it's a sacred space for you. For me, it was my bedroom. I terrorized it, my poor parents. I eventually was able to pay.
Sorry, Jess's parents.
I was eventually able to pay back that wooden floor that's now laying, on the upper level of the home that they still live in 42 years later.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. It's like, I don't know if anything happens to that house, I'm gonna go and find the money and rob a bank and buy it, because that's like my guts and my kishkas lay there. Like that's like
everything.
My birth space.
Foundation.
Absolutely. And my parents gave me the freedom to play within my home and outside of my home, and they gave me freedom and supplies, and they helped my environment.
Right.
And said, if that's what makes you happy right now, go ahead and do it, but just don't make a career out of it, because you're not going to make any money. Which you knew that was coming next, because that's what every parent says, because they say it out of love, because they care and they're scared.
Right.
And that's their own fear, because how do they know how to be an artist? They don't know, so how am I supposed to know?
Right. You didn't have artists in the family.
There was no one. There's no one around.
There was no one to lean on.
No, man. There's no one to tell you, hey, this is how I did it.
Right.
So my sister and I, Mel, who's also a really amazing artist, she's still a full-time artist. Her and I had to learn on our own how to navigate those waters. But your question was, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You just do it.
Right.
I don't know how you do it, because my body was already doing it, and I had to notice that and become aware of myself.
Right.
That was where I wanted to be in my body, that I had done retail jobs. I did door-to-door gas sales. I did nightclub work. I was a door person. I got emails from people to build people's lists up.
Right.
At one point, I had 4 different jobs, and I was at York University as a student. Not hating my life, but there was a lot of frustration and tears.
Right.
I had no gas money. I had no money for supplies. I want to create. I need to sell something in order to put the pen to paper or the brush to canvas, in my case.
Yeah.
But I'm so restless and probably have a list of ADHD letters and numbers attached
all
to
good.
My name.
It's all good.
And this was the way that I was going to naturally flow into my passion.
Right.
No matter what. And how did I do it? I went out there.
Right.
There was no social media. I had no website. I went out there. I met people. I shook hands. Where does the music that inspires me live? Let's go there.
Right.
Where does the environment that inspires me live? Let's go there.
Right.
Let's go get that. And then organically, again, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just doing it.
Right.
It was a happening. It was happening with me, for me. And I'm doing this because there's like a soup. We're putting the ingredients in the soup. How do I make that soup? I want to taste that soup. That's where I want to go. I have a vision. I started writing. I read The Secret at 21.
Oh, you guys never read The Secret.
And The Power of Now, and The Alchemist, and all these little Celestian prophecies.
Right.
And I'm like, this is happening to me already.
There's more.
There's more, and I want to dive into it. And I want to see what happens if I experiment. It's a fine line. Like right now, I can walk into the art store and it's like a candy store. I'm like, I'll take one of those, and I'll take one of those, and I'll take one of those.
Right.
When you don't have the ability to take one of those, the pressure for yourself is crazy, because you can't get another shot at that canvas. Oh, wait a second, I can paint over it if I don't like it. And all these things, you start to learn how it works, and the layering of creation.
Right.
You gotta learn it for yourself.
Right.
There was one teacher that my mom, we afford 3 lessons. I had 3 lessons at 14. She came to my kitchen counter in the kitchen. I love to work on a table. I knew that I loved to work on a table. She sat me down at my kitchen table. And the way that she held the brush and mixed that one stroke changed my life forever. That gift of that one teacher at that time, at 14, I was like, oh my God, you just know it. Like, that's how you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. And at 17, a collector came over and they bought a piece of artwork for $500 in 1997. And that changed my life too. And then, and you keep going. Right. And the sculpture that is in Florence, in the Uffizi, the sculpture of David, he gets chipped away until it becomes a sculpture. And the story never ends.
Right. We are here with
Jessica. And that's my life in a nutshell. Thank you. Have a nice day.
We are here with Jessica Gorlicky, one of Toronto's, if not Toronto's, amazing artists out here, and just awesome individual. As you can see, high energy.
Thank you.
It wears her heart on her sleeve when she's talking about becoming this artist or evolving. And
blessed to have the energy to tell the story. Blessed to be here with you today. Gratitude for all of it, all the steps, the crying in the corner when no one came to your art show, when no one showed up at your class, and you're like, I put this segment together. It's badass, and no one's here.
And we can tell young people and even older people as we evolve, continue, is just keep walking.
That's my everything. That's my one line. Just
moving.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I'm gonna eat this thing. Just keep
I thought I would do fun mics today, and we put the Road Wildest Me on the popsicle stick.
I love it.
And I wanted color, and
I was gravitating to red, and I like that deep teal. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
We can trade if you want.
All right.
It won't matter. And
so much fun.
So
to that, keep
going.
going.
No one sees these dark moments, crying in the corner.
Yeah.
The lonely nights.
There's a lot of them.
No one's buying anything. No one's paying.
There's a
You
lot
can't
of those
afford
moments,
stuff, and those moments come, and they come very hard.
They come hard.
And no one teaches you how to go
deal
through
with it.
And this is why
adversity builds character.
You have to go through it. Experience will trump a lot of things.
Like, I'm happy for all y'all who shit's just given to you, and I don't know how you're gonna manage when something falls or breaks, because this is it for us. 905 Thornhill kids, and a lot of other people out there, especially now, and we don't have to go into the politics of what's going on for the youth, but hey man, if you ever need someone to call, I'm here for you. If you want to ask me any questions, if you want to ask this, respected, we're getting to that place where we've been through all of it, a lot of it.
And we got to teach it back.
And so this space that you're in right now. But
tell us about the space.
I was going to just add one thing to your last point there. No matter if there's one person in the room or 500, I know that you show up.
Yeah.
Because I show up.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
You have to show up.
You show up for yourself.
Yep.
And this is a practice for me. And your practice is for you. And if you can't do that practice for yourself, there's no way you're given that gift of practice to someone else.
Correct.
That practice was for you too, the way that you built those classes, the way that you tried things, the way that you have persevered and gone through all of your adversities.
Yeah. No, and I appreciate that. And the funny
So here we are.
And the funny part about it, yes, is like along the way, I always told myself, and continue to, training wasn't the end goal.
Right.
It was just the vehicle that got me from one place to the next.
100%.
I over this last year, and I can tell you I had a realization, I never forget, I was walking in a space, and I looked up and I said, God, there is more for me. I know you have something more. And I always say, from my mouth to God's ear. I always say that. You can go back on some of my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikToks now. I always say, from my mouth to God's ear. And I knew there was something more. So if it's interviews or getting on and motivating people to get up and get their steps in or do their push-ups, it's so important that...
I watched your page every morning on those morning walks at 4:57. And you're 2
5
kilometers
a.m..
in.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're 2 kilometers in. I was like, damn, man, if he can get his ass up, it's like a blizzard out there. So
Yeah.
he's doing it. And so thank you for that.
No, I
from all of
appreciate it.
us.
And listen, I appreciate it. I
That was
don't
your practice. I
I
respect
don't talk
it.
about it a lot, and maybe I should, one day dive into why I was doing the walks and
You're an
stuff like
Aries.
this.
You got to lead by example, man. You got to lead by example. You're the first
By
sun
your side.
sign. You got to show us the way, and then we're gonna follow. We're gonna be right there with you because, hey, it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Not getting out of bed,
Yeah.
or not being able to get out of bed,
Yeah.
not being able to fix yourself that healthy breakfast after you did some work. You
Yeah.
deserve it. There's there's a reward there after.
No, you're right, and that's the part
I appreciated those walks. I just want you to know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here.
I believe the children are future. Lead them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty
Little
they
solo.
possess inside.
Jess, we are here with Jessica Gorlicky. Did not think you were gonna start singing. That was awesome. Oh my
Give them a
gosh.
sense of pride.
And this is what artists do. And
is
they got to
it.
be able to be yourself on and off the camera. You are who you are, and
I'm fully sweating right now, but you can't tell.
let's talk
It's great.
about the art.
All right.
Let's talk about why people will DM you. Why they will call.
Sure.
Let's talk about when they show up to the studio. What are they gonna see? And we're gonna take a tour.
Sure, let's do it.
And we are going to show people the artistic side, but just give us
Sure.
the art side of Jess.
I am gonna tell.
What
I'm
are
gonna,
you?
I'm gonna
How
go
do
with
you
the
define
first word.
Jess?
The first word that has to come up
Yeah.
is unapologetically authentic.
Okay.
When you are doing your practice,
Yeah.
painting, moving,
Yeah.
push-ups, dancing, singing, whatever that creation in that moment.
Right.
And don't give me any bullshit about I'm not an artist and I don't know how to do it and it looks good on you. I can't wear that. Stop
Right.
with the story, man.
Yeah.
Because that's just a story.
Yeah.
You gotta let that shit go.
Right.
And once you overcome that part, you can start to authentically, unapologetically express yourself.
Right.
And whatever comes from that is going to resonate with someone else because it's your truth.
Right.
I have seen the worst drawn horse ever, and it sell for $1 million, for example.
Right.
It resonated with someone somehow, some way. That was that person's whatever. The stories and like verbal communication is awesome, but I think that we have really separated ourselves from the mind and body connection. There is no separation. It is one.
Right.
We have to stop separating ourselves from everything.
Right.
The God, the energy, it is everything, everywhere, at all times. Connect yourself to your source.
Right.
Get into your own power.
Right.
Build yourself up. Run 5K. I don't know. Movement, Coach Jay, is everything.
Yeah. You
And
gotta get up, you gotta
I'm
move.
not just magically pooping out a painting. I'm moving for it. I'm grooving for it. I'm setting myself up.
Right.
I'm playing tunes.
Right.
I've had the great ability to travel and get inspired. I hear languages. I learned 4 languages before I was 17, not from my family.
Right.
Not from school. Yes, I did a little bit of language in school.
Right.
I wanted it. What do you want? Go get it.
It's interesting that you talk about, moving and wanting these things. And I think a lot of times people get hung up on the how, and they get
I did
hung
it.
up
I did it.
on end result.
I did
so
it.
Everyone wants the end result.
I did it.
And, when you go through things, you realize the journey is the most
I am not
powerful.
very patient, and patience is a frickin' virtue, and I have had to learn to
Patience.
sit
Still.
in it.
Yeah, be still.
Painful, terrorizing myself. I'm like, you're the only one doing this to yourself, girl. Like, are you looking in the mirror? Because it's really all up to you. The power is in you. You got to figure it out.
Right.
Everyone's lesson will be different. I can't tell you how to do it.
Right.
I can show you my way. You're welcome to hop on board and jump on the ship and be the captain of your own ship and take what you want to from the world. Warhol didn't just magically invent a Campbell soup can. He saw it. It said something to him. Whatever trip that was, I'd like to investigate that. However, like we gain things from our environment.
Right.
My partner often talks about being a product of your environment.
Right.
He's been through a ton of excellent world experiences that he tells me about.
Right.
He often talks about product of environment.
Right.
Get into that environment. Let's get into it. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what that feels like.
Right.
As a young person, gotta try.
Right. You gotta try.
Really important out for humans, actually.
Right.
And we all want to shy away from pain and go in and hide. And I think you have no choice but to go in it, to conquer it, to let it show you its lessons. Right. The dark is equally as important as the light. We can't see the light unless we have the dark. We need the contrast.
Right.
It's impossible without it.
Important points here. I'm here with Jessica Gorlicky. You are watching the Coach J podcast,
Exciting.
episode 2 here.
On April 2nd, 2-2. We're 2-2-2ing. 2-2-2.
We are going to tour the studio and show the people how beautiful this space is, and then you can talk about what you guys do here.
I'm going to give you like a little quick download.
And everything.
Here
this
it goes.
Is amazing. So let's take a little
walk.
All
right, we're gonna walk around. This is Jessica Gorlicky Designs.
We are here.
Here we are.
In Jess Studio. This is it.
It is.
This is, now, I've seen this when it was just black outline.
Yeah.
That's how, like,
it was one of the hardest years of my life. I couldn't even see color. I left it there for about a year while I was healing, actually. And I filled in color as I went. That was about 5-6 years ago. And since then, I've thought, I need to make a new mural. There's so many other pieces, like I'd love to showcase them.
Right.
It's become such a staple in the space. So the space is my space, of course, to create artwork, to create B-roll, to create video, photography. And it's also a space for other artists to come in and facilitate their own event. Right. So a lot of wellness has come in, and there's always like a ceremonial there's like an altar here, there's DJs here, a lot of musicians come through. Right. Private events, public events, podcasts, TV shows, photo shoots. So a lot goes on within these walls. Space. And this is, I just can't let her go. She's just so gorgeous. And you
painted it on the, imagine
can't take
you
it with
can't
me.
take
Can't take it with me.
With you. So if you were to ever buy a bigger building.
Right. Gotta let her go.
It's staying here, which is a blessing for the next person if it, you decide to ever let it go at some point.
If they think that it works well with their,
You started this when? What year?
I started this probably in 2018, 2017, 2018 this fall, maybe.
7 years.
Yeah, it's been about 7 years.
7 years, and this is this is why I love art, I love film, I love acting, and to see people's career in sports, especially young athletes coming into the sports, and then you see them 5, 6, 7 years later. Right. Is that it's evolved still.
It's evolved.
And you can still probably...
And there's things that have literally evolved since this year, which is like disco balls, cutting up disco balls, making disco ornaments for this installation. Right. There's an installation of the bird cages up there that I found, a bunch of bird cages. So I kind of like what someone else is leaving behind. Right. I can refurbish and upcycle it into something that is creative and an installation. Why should we throw it away?
Right.
So sometimes that gets me into trouble because I have no storage space in the back. I definitely got to let things go.
So you're using it, but then you're like, oh, where do I put it
Yeah,
now?
totally. So
It's-
we can run into those problems. But being a creative, I'm always, listen, I have a ton of shows that go on.
Right.
Sometimes the flowers and the installations work, and sometimes the stuff on the floor all needs to go away. And the space, I can't tell you the transformations I've seen. I've had the space for 10 years. I'm celebrating my 10th year.
Wow, congratulations. This is amazing.
Thanks.
Let's go, 10 years. That is absolutely
huge.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's
Huge. What a blessing
It's
this
a test
space
to
is.
your willingness not to stop.
Yeah. I've healed,
And-
I've cried, I've created some of my best work in my life.
Right. We're here with Jessica Gorlicky, and
We went all the way over on this side. What
we
about
came
going
on
to
this
this
side, and we're
what about
gonna
going to that side?
check out some of this as we wrap things up here. We're going to check out some of this more beautiful artwork.
Thank you. Welcome to the main wall.
This is comfy.
Yeah, I know.
This is comfy.
Thank you to
we
the
are here
Nonna.
with Jessica Gorlicky in her beautiful Toronto studio, and this is the feature wall.
This is the feature wall.
And there is beautiful artwork from one side of the wall to the next. There's these wonderful chairs.
These are totally found in Nonna's garden who wasn't using them. I take things, I reuse
This
things, I
is
paint things,
awesome.
and I try to give them a little more life, and then I let it go.
That's amazing.
So this wall is interchanging all the time. The
Okay.
artwork shifts. I sell something, I put something back up.
Right.
I've got about 300 pieces behind that mural wall back there. That's a
300?
at least. There's a lot of stock right now because I've been pretty prolific. Since COVID, I decided if you're not creating, you're consuming. Let's just create.
To all the creators, and I'm listening to that as well, if you are not creating, you're consuming.
Yeah, Vladdy, who's my piano teacher, he was actually having this conversation with us not long ago, and that's, I think, what I've been moving towards, creating, not consuming. Because if you're not creating, you kind of think of, do you feel that one?
You scroll. That's it. You scroll. You definitely. And the other caveat to that is that if you're not creating and you're not consuming, you're idling.
Yeah.
And
that's your gas.
And
that's your energy right there. That's your source.
it's important that
you wanna do
you
with
don't
it?
idle.
I'm not saying to burn out.
No,
I'm not
no.
saying to burn out.
Jess, one of the biggest things for me that I learned, especially during COVID, is I had to sit in an empty studio. Not a lot of people know this, and I'm willing to share. I sat in the empty studio for almost one whole year.
Tough, man. This was me here too.
And you learn a lot about yourself. And I am forever grateful to God that I sat there by myself, because he says, be still and know that I am God.
Yes.
And that resonated with me so much, because I even do it now, is when I need to get grounded, I said, just be still. Do nothing. Just listen
Good
to
for
what
you.
you need to do.
It's just as important as the movement.
And when you're still, you then start to think and you get creative. We live in an era, it's 2025. We live in an era where anything you want to do is now possible.
Literally.
You did 300. You have 300 pieces of art.
Totally.
300.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna show you the racks up there, stacked up to the ceiling, and the 14-foot ceiling back there. It's crazy.
300. And no one forced you to do it.
No.
No one came in and held your hand.
I birthed all those babies.
No one stroked the paint and told you which canvas or what kind of material to use or what kind of paint, because they're all different.
That's right.
What point, because I know what point it was for me, what point in your life did you say, I better get up and do this? What happened? What was that pivotal point that you said, and you don't have to dive into, hey, sure, Jade, this is what happened.
I had definitely had a lot of looks in the bathroom mirror, and I said to myself, definitely had to have a few talks with myself over the years.
Right.
I'm not working for someone else. Are you crazy? That was one of them.
Right.
I'm not being treated this way in a store making money for you.
Right.
And I remember looking at my friends' parents who were working 9 to 5 or more and miserable.
Right.
I was terrified to become an adult.
Right.
Didn't look very promising. It was like, what are we doing?
Stay young forever. Yeah.
Honestly, like, it's terrifying out there.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, Jess, at 14? Like, not what you're doing.
Right.
I'm gonna have to figure it out on my own.
Right.
And I have shivers all up my body when I think about that talk that I had, when I remember, you're gonna do what you love. Oh, well, it's impossible. You can't be an art. Look, you're gonna be 45 and finally make money.
Right.
Fine. I'll be happy doing it. As long as I am making my own joy.
Right.
It's up to me. You are not gonna provide that for me.
Right.
You don't have money to give to me to just say, hey, here you go, here's all the canvas. I worked for every single piece.
Right.
And I found joy in making every single piece because they were for me. And I had to have faith in myself. And the energy and the power and the God and all of the gods and all of the energies are in me. It's up to me
To make it.
You can't give it to me.
Right.
What I need.
Right.
I have to give it to me.
Right. And listen, this has been a blast.
We can go on. How long do you have? How many days can you hire? I'll feed you. We'll talk. We'll video it.
No,
it's
we
crazy.
definitely have to.
There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely have to do a part 2 to this. But it's been a pleasure.
You're welcome in
It's
here.
always great seeing you. This is episode 2, so I appreciate you being part of episode 2 on the Coach Jay podcast.
Thanks for having me.
But, where can people find you? How can people find you?
Sure.
Tell us your social media. Promote whatever you want to promote. It's just, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I mean, it's pretty organic, so people find me organically through word of mouth. When the soul speaks, someone else. I don't love to speak on my own behalf typically. And you've done such a great job in
Thank you.
I guess, representing me. So thank you for that. I appreciate you and all of your efforts.
I appreciate it.
Over the decades, man. Blessings. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep
It's
it
tough,
going.
but yeah, I appreciate it.
Of course. And I am Jessica Gorlicky Studios or Jessica Gorlicky Designs. The people have chosen Jesco Studios, so whichever way you want to plug it in online, you'll find me. My socials are Jesco333, Jesco333.
Yeah.
That's the number. That was always my number as an athlete, so it stayed with me throughout. People have asked, what's with the 3s?
Yeah.
I'm one of 3. I have 2 sisters. I'm in the middle of 2 sisters. There was always 3 of us. I found power in numbers, and I appreciate my family, so I guess maybe I take them with me, me being one of 3.
That's awesome.
3 was always my number, and you're always welcome here.
I appreciate
till the
it.
end of time until I have it. You can podcast in here at any time. This is a
appreciate that,
safe
Jess.
space for people who are artists in my community. You are an artist in my community.
I'm an artist now, guys.
He's an artist in the
I'm a
community.
creator.
Right when you leave, I'm
If
gonna
you
do
would have
it.
told me, Jay, in 5 years and 6 years, you would be wanting to create content and film and learn about filmmaking or interviewing people or being on television, I would have just probably looked at you
Laughed in
funny.
your face, yeah, like, okay, whatever.
But what has evolved is being able to share these stories.
Yeah.
I think this is the most important thing for me is bringing people on, regardless of who they are, where they come from, or ethnic background, or sexual orientation, or religious beliefs, or
Who
political.
cares? Why do we have to get into it?
None of that matters to me. I want to share stories of real people, regardless of where they are in life, about how they became.
I love that.
Thanks
for choosing me.
And
It's been an honor to share
it's
it with
been a
you,
pleasure.
honestly.
And I wish you the most success and continuous success moving forward. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out from Coach Jay, Jessica
out.
Gorlicky. We'll see ya. Peace.